This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
The time right now is 4:27 here on your Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Let's take a look at today's top stories before we get into the show. First, starting off with the latest COVID-19 numbers here in the state of Indiana. These were updated yesterday. We have more than 11,000 positive cases across the state. At least 4,000 of those, more than 4,000 of those cases are right here in Marion County. As of yesterday, they recorded 7 new deaths. That brings our total to 569 total deaths across the state from the coronavirus. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated on the latest numbers as soon as we get those into our newsroom. That usually happens right around noon. Of course, we'll keep you updated. But now, something else a lot of people are talking about right now, the stay-at-home order and when that could start to be lifted and we could start to rebound Indiana and reopen our economy. Right now, we know from the governor that he is extending that order through May 1st. He's also saying that some elective medical procedures can resume. So that includes a number of things like screenings and even some things that are kind of life-saving but are not urgent. Those will be resuming. We also got an update on different businesses that are allowed to be open right now. He clarified that nurseries, greeneries, groomers, those businesses can be open using those social distancing guidelines. So we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more about the social distancing, the stay-at-home order, and when the state could reopen, and really how businesses are preparing to reopen right now and if we have new guidelines in place. So we'll get to those stories here on Good Morning Indiana, but let's take a turn to our forecast. A beautiful Monday in our forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by with a little bit of a chillier look at what we can expect for our Tuesday. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, yesterday was just absolutely fabulous, Lauren, with the sunshine, the temperatures that were nice and mild, and that change is starting to occur right now. If you look real close behind me in the center of your screen, you can see a few specks of green. There's not a lot of moisture out there, but that's a cold front that's working its way through the area currently, and you notice it's 46 in Logansport. Kokomo's at 48. Bloomington is at 55 degrees. All the temperatures will continue to fall into the 40s here this morning, and then throughout the afternoon hours, they'll slowly start to rebound back up into the low 50s. So we've technically hit our high temperatures for the day today. The good news is, even though it's going to be a little bit cooler and it'll be a little bit breezy at times, we'll have plenty of sunshine in this forecast, with our high temperature eventually getting back up to right around 54 degrees. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a look at another story we're following for you today. Part of our initiative here is called We're Open Indy, highlighting businesses that are open. But I want to introduce you to one Center Grove senior high school student who created his own business during this time, a grocery delivery service. And in order to provide this service for free, he's partnering with local businesses. So we'll tell you more about Southside Delivers, plus news, weather, and traffic coming up.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 4:30, Governor Holcomb has issued new COVID-19 guidelines for the state of Indiana. We'll explain the changes, including an ease on some restrictions. Hospitals and doctors have had to adjust to virtual appointments during the coronavirus outbreak, while some experts say the use of telehealth could have a lasting impact on medicine. And a high school senior is using his time and talents to help others during this pandemic, and he was even recognized by the governor. I'll show you how his new business is already making a lasting impact on this community. But before we get to those top stories today, we do want to welcome you to Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. The time right now is 4:30, and Todd Clausen is standing by, working from home again today. And Todd, you have an update on our Tuesday forecast, not quite like what we saw yesterday, and yesterday was absolutely perfect.
You know, yesterday was great. Temperatures into the mid-60s, the sunshine. There was a little bit of a breeze that kicked up in the afternoon hours. Today's not perfect. It's not quite as good as it was yesterday, but it's not a terrible day. That is the good news for us. Temperatures right now are sitting in the 40s and 50s across the area. 53 in Martinsville. 55 is the current temperature in Bloomington as well as Bedford. And we're looking at a temperature of 48 degrees up in the Peru area. Now, there are a few very light spotty showers that are falling apart across central Indiana. So it's really not going to impact anything. It's nothing more than a sprinkle. But what these showers are is a cold front that is currently working its way through. And as this cold front comes through, it's essentially going to cap our temperatures from warming back to where we were just a few hours ago in the upper 50s across the area. So it's going to be a cooler day for us with high temperatures that will be in the low to mid 50s later on this afternoon. It's also going to be a little bit breezy, but the good news is, Lauren, at least we keep the sunshine. You'll have to have a jacket on, but at least it's going to be a nice bright day for us. We'll talk about when rain does return to this forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic. This is I-65 and I-70 at the North Split. Traffic in this area is moving along up to speed, but keep in mind we do have the eastbound lanes of I-70 blocked from the North Split all the way over to the east side at 465. If you're heading through that area, you will need to reroute. This is an ongoing project through mid-May. And keep this in mind, crews will be closing the westbound lanes of I-70 this week between the same spots, 465 on the east side and the North Split downtown. Latest update from INDOT is that is going to happen on Friday morning, so keep that in mind for your morning commute. At that point, we'll have both directions of I-70 closed on the east side. New from overnight, flames bursting from the roof of a downtown apartment building. More than 20 fire units were called to the 800 Cap Apartments on North Capitol Avenue just before 1:30 this morning. Fire officials say the fire was in a rooftop common area of the former industrial building and did not spread to any apartments inside. No residents were hurt, but a firefighter did have a shoulder injury. This morning, there are some new guidelines now in effect for the state of Indiana. Governor Eric Holcomb announcing a new executive order to address the evolving changes of the COVID-19 crisis. That includes beginning to ease some restrictions starting today. Holcomb says elective medical procedures can resume. That includes diagnosing, screening, and treating conditions like cancer and heart issues. He formally extended the state's stay-at-home order through May 1st. That announcement comes just days after demonstrators gathered outside the governor's residence in protest of those restrictions.
I totally get the anxiety and the impatience and the desire to get back out there and get back out the way things used to be. There will be a new normal, and we will get there, and we're on the right path. That's the somewhat frustrating thing is, for the most part in the state of Indiana, we're on the right path.
Well, during the press conference, the governor also clarified that nurseries, greenhouses, and pet groomers can already be open. Right now, Indiana has 11,686 positive COVID-19 cases. More than 4,000 of those are right here in Marion County. In the latest report from the Indiana State Department of Health, 7 new deaths have been reported. That's the lowest day-to-day increase in several days. A total of 569 deaths have been confirmed across our state. The coronavirus pandemic could have a lasting impact on how we seek medical treatment. Since the outbreak began, IU Health and other hospitals have offered virtual screenings for the virus, but people are also turning to telehealth for other medical appointments as well. Some are doing so to avoid possible exposure in emergency rooms or to maintain social distancing. Dr. Aaron Shoemaker, the Chief Medical Officer of Ascension Medical Group, tells RTV6 its system has booked 1,000 virtual sessions from last July to March 18th. Since that date, there have been about 50,000 visits.
I don't think we'll ever go back. I think that COVID-19 and coronavirus will have a long-lasting effect on the way that we deliver healthcare forever. So we can do all those things that we have historically done and start to deliver that differently and really offer it to our patients. We expect to say, hey, for those kind of things, would you like to have a physical visit in person in the office, or would you prefer to be seen virtually, and give people the choice?
Well, Dr. Shoemaker stresses that there are safe options to seek care no matter what. Do not let an emergency room or a serious health issue go untreated. Today, the Indianapolis Bar Association is offering free legal help to small businesses impacted by the outbreak. The Ask a Lawyer event runs from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Attorneys will be available to answer questions regarding the CARES Act, paycheck protection programs, and other resources available. To begin the chat, visit their website, indybar.org. The pandemic is not stopping one farmer's market from offering fresh local produce. Fisher's Farmers Market is going to offer online ordering starting this Sunday at 9 a.m. They will take a maximum of 400 orders per week, 100 for home delivery and 300 for on-site pickup. Shoppers can pick up their orders at Holland Park the following Saturday between 8 a.m. and noon. To maintain social distancing, park staff will load the items into the trunk of your vehicle. The online system is set to be in place through the end of May. Well, businesses around central Indiana continue to make big changes to support healthcare workers in the front lines of this pandemic. MSP Aviation down in Bloomington usually manufactures parts for airplanes. The owner tells RTV6 the company had been impacted by the significant drop in business for airlines. But instead of stopping production, MSP is rolling out a new product that's in high demand right now. It's making face shields. They'll be shipped to healthcare facilities all across the Midwest.
Quite easy. You just put the foam band on your forehead and you've got a face shield. And that's really how this started. Nurses and doctors saying, help us. Can you make this?
The first shipment of 25,000 shields will go out later this week.
There's Dylan, who is just south of where we find ourselves right now, down in Center Grove. So many of his neighbors and his classmates' neighbors were homebound, and so they're doing home deliveries. They even have a website where you can go and check what you may need, featuring local businesses.
Well, you know you're doing something good for your community when you get a special shout out from the governor of Indiana during his daily press conferences. Dylan Godsave is a graduating senior at Center Grove High School, but he is wise beyond his years. Here at RTV6, part of our mission is We're Open Indy, showcasing local businesses that are still open during this pandemic to serve you. And Dylan is doing that on another scale by connecting people in need with his classmates who can help them, all while supporting local businesses during this COVID-19 pandemic. Loading and unloading, shopping with purpose, and delivering to our neighbors in need. That's the goal of newly created business, Southside Delivers.
And there's really a huge need for this, as we found out.
Dylan Godsave is like many high school seniors right now, out of school and missing those special end-of-the-year traditions. But rather than focusing on what he doesn't have, he's focusing on what he does. And that's coding skills, business know-how, friends who can help him, and the motivation to serve others.
I think that all of us are just in it to help people, and we are not looking to make money. Our goal is just to use our resources to help these people in need.
Dylan created the site called Southside Delivers. It's a local grocery delivery service currently serving people in need in most of the Center Grove School District. The service is free, and that's all thanks to the other side of Southside Delivers, where he promotes local businesses in the area. Not only does Southside Delivers connect people in need with eager young volunteers to do their grocery shopping, the site also features products made by local shops.
Kind of reached out to them to see what we can do to help, and so from there, that's when we started loading on some of their products to our site.
Like Coffee Connection, a local apparel store selling CG spirit wear and quarantine clothing, and his own business venture, Casual Cosmetics. Southside Delivers partners people in need with businesses needing support and healthy young volunteers who are prepared and trained to deliver those goods in a safe way.
The day of our launch, we had 77 deliveries that we did, over 300 people on our site.
And that number continues to climb. Well, Dylan plans to attend Vancouver Film School next year with the hopes of living out in LA or Vancouver, working on TV shows. But for right now, he's supporting his school community of Center Grove. If you would like to order from Southside Delivers, or maybe you're a student and you want to volunteer, or maybe you're a local business that's open and you want to partner with them, we posted everything you need to know on our website, theindychannel.com. Just click on this story. It is 4:40. Today marks 1 year since hundreds were killed in the attacks on churches and hotels in Sri Lanka. Coming up, a look back at the devastation that shocked the world on Easter Sunday. And President Trump and some U.S. governors are still at odds at how the coronavirus outbreak is being handled. Still ahead, what the president says is going to change and the steps some states are already taking to reopen. Todd.
And Lauren, there's currently a cold front making its way through central Indiana, and as this front's coming through, there's a few very light showers that are making their way to the ground here across the state. However, they move out pretty quickly, but this cold front does usher in some changes for the rest of today. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 4:40. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6. Hiring Hoosiers only on RTV6.
Today marks 1 year since a series of deadly bombs went off in Christian churches and luxury hotels in Sri Lanka. On that Easter Sunday, 250 people were killed and at least 500 more were injured in the terrorist attack. The bombings took place in multiple cities throughout the day, starting at 9 a.m. and lasting through the early afternoon. 2 suicide bombers from a prominent Sri Lankan family were found responsible. President Trump is taking aim at some governors critical of the way his administration has handled the coronavirus outbreak. His response comes amid new expected executive action as states navigate reopening. ABC's Alex Perche has more right now from Washington.
This morning, President Trump firing back at governors who've been critical of the administration's response to the pandemic by highlighting testing locations across the country. The president claiming adequate testing already exists and saying it's not being utilized.
Some of the governors, like as an example, the governor from Maryland didn't really understand the list. He didn't understand too much about what was going on, so now I think he'll be able to do that. It's pretty simple.
Maryland's Republican Governor Larry Hogan says he was already in contact with all of Maryland's labs on that list, but some are federally run and therefore off limits. The White House now says that will change, allowing states to use those federally run labs. Governors now navigating their own state's reopenings. In Georgia, the governor declaring gyms, barbershops, and bowling alleys can reopen on Friday. This back-to-work protest in Colorado echoing words from the president this weekend, even as they violate the administration's own social distancing guidelines. But Dr. Fauci warning these kinds of protests could backfire.
What you do if you jump the gun and go into a situation where you have a big spike, you're going to set yourself back.
And there are still reminders of just how dangerous this virus is. In Michigan, 5-year-old Skylar Herbert becoming the state's first child to die of coronavirus. Both her parents, first responders.
They've been on the front line. They did not deserve to lose their child to this virus.
But signs of hope as well. New York now showing a decline in its hospitalization rate.
The question is now, how long is the descent and how steep is the descent? And nobody knows.
Also developing overnight, President Trump announcing on Twitter that he plans to sign an executive order temporarily banning immigration to the U.S. because of COVID-19. Democrats have already blasted the announcement. Senator Kamala Harris of California saying the president is shamelessly publicizing the pandemic. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
President Donald Trump also has announced that he's temporarily suspending immigration into the U.S. because of COVID-19. Last night, the president tweeted that he will sign an executive order to halt immigration to fight against what he calls, quote, invisible enemy and to protect the jobs of American citizens. It's unclear how the order will be carried out or how long the suspension could last. In Pennsylvania, face masks are now mandatory at essential businesses. That goes for both employees and customers. Under the state order, employees must wear the face coverings at all times except to eat or drink. Businesses are also required to supply employees with the masks. Healthcare providers or those medically unable to wear a mask are exempt. Those who do not follow the order could face a citation, a fine, or a license suspension. Here at 4:47, we got to check in with Todd and see what it's looking like in our Tuesday forecast.
You know, and it's going to be a sunny day for us, Lauren. That's the good news. The bad news is not quite as warm as it was yesterday. In fact, we're probably going to be running about 10 degrees cooler today than it was yesterday. However, when you have the sunshine, it really helps things out this time of year as the sun continues to get stronger and stronger. So it's not a terrible day by any means. Temperatures right now are sitting in the 40s and 50s, and normally we would take these temperatures and probably push them up into the 60s for our afternoon highs. However, there's a cold front that's working its way through the area, so we're only going to get back to around where we are right now later on this afternoon as far as temperatures go. As you look at Storm Team 6 radar, the sweep's not showing a whole lot, but if we zoom in real close, there's a few very, very small isolated showers that continue to fade away. When I set the pause point here just 5 minutes ago or so, there was still more on radar than there is right now. So that just shows you how these showers are fading away as they make their way through the state. And there's a little band of cloud cover that's accompanying this cold front as it makes its way through. But those clouds will push out very, very quickly as well. And we'll be into the sunshine very quickly here this morning. Then you look back off towards the west and there is nothing going on from Minneapolis to Omaha. And that's the sunshine that we'll enjoy throughout the course of the day today. So temperatures will go from the 40s up into the 50s later on this afternoon. Again, we'll continue to fall here this morning down to about 45 degrees once this front goes through, and then we'll slowly rebound back to that high temperature of 54. There will be a bit of a breeze today too, so that will help to make that 54 feel just a little bit cooler. This evening, once the sun sets, temperatures do cool back down into the 40s pretty quickly across the area. About 43 degrees by the time we get to 11 p.m. and then going into tomorrow morning, it's another cold one. Temperatures will be in the 30s and 40s. There are some freeze warnings and frost advisories on the eastern side of the state that'll go into effect tonight into tomorrow morning. But then tomorrow, we're right back into the mild air. We'll turn those winds more southerly. That'll take the temperatures near 70 degrees tomorrow, starting off with sunshine, but the clouds will increase. The next chance of rain, and that arrives a Thursday morning, as you see at the top of your screen here. As we go throughout the day on Thursday, we'll be dealing with periods of rain and showers off and on through a good chunk of the entire day. So Thursday's the day that we bring the showers back into the forecast. They stick around on Friday, and then honestly, it remains a little unsettled as we work our way into the weekend with temperatures that'll be in the 50s and 60s. So this is a very typical spring-like forecast, Lauren, with the up and down temperatures and some opportunities, not today, but going forward, that will bring some showers and maybe a few thunderstorms into the forecast by the weekend.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. It is 4:50. Actor Tom Hanks is opening up about what it's like to have COVID-19. Hanks told the National Defense Radio Show he was wiped out by the virus. He said he had serious body aches and fatigue, but Hanks said his wife Rita Wilson had more severe symptoms. Wilson suffered from a high fever and was so nauseous that she had to crawl on the floor at times. The couple was in Australia at the time to shoot a movie about Elvis Presley. Both have since recovered and are back in Los Angeles. Pomp and circumstance will be missing from Queen Elizabeth's birthday today. The British monarch is turning 94 years old. The Queen canceled her usual birthday gun salute for the first time in 68 years because of the pandemic. Instead, the palace is expected to celebrate on social media. There are reports resurfacing that One Direction could be reuniting. The British boy band broke hearts back in 2015 by going on hiatus after Zayn Malik quit the group. But fans noticed last weekend that the official One Direction Twitter account is once again following Malik's account. The accounts belonging to members Harry Styles, Liam Payne, Louis Tomlinson, and Niall Horan are too. Back in 2017, Horan gave hope that a reunion would happen. This year, the group will be celebrating their 10th anniversary. A central Indiana woman is not letting the coronavirus stop her from running the Boston Marathon. Just after the break, how she and her family set up a safe way for her to run the race of a lifetime. And COVID-19 crisis is impacting nearly every aspect of the economy, including tourism. New at 5 o'clock, why experts say tourism in Indiana is actually in a better situation than many other states. It's 4:52. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Fuel are proud supporters of local literacy.
A Noblesville woman did not let a postponement stop her from running the Boston Marathon. Jen Dye qualified for the marathon, which would have been Monday. Instead of extending her training for their scheduled date in September, she ran her own marathon through Noblesville and Carmel. Her family cheering her on as she ran through a homemade toilet paper finish line.
Marathon training takes a lot of time. It's a lot of time away from my family. A little bit lost sleep. It's hard to work around a working schedule. I'm a healthcare worker, but they've been very supportive. A lot of the times my girls come with me on their bikes while I run, so I try to incorporate the family along with me.
Jen finished in 3 hours and 36 minutes. She still plans on running the Boston Marathon on September 14th. Congratulations to her. All right, it is 4:56. Let's check in with Todd and see what we can expect as we head out the door today.
You know, it's a sun-filled day for us today, Lauren. That is the good news. A little cooler than yesterday. A little breezy as well with a high temperature of 54 degrees. That's going to make it feel more like it's probably in the upper 40s. But if you're in the sunshine, it won't be all that bad. Tomorrow, back into the mid to upper 60s. Some of you into the 70s with increasing clouds. Those clouds will eventually start to produce some rain throughout the day on Thursday, and that'll linger into Friday as well. We'll talk all about the rain showers and the rest of the 7-day planning forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.